Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Pianki Patama.
Hello, bro. You know it's Tuesday. This is the Tuesday Takeover show.
Really, bro?
Yeah, bro. So welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314, where I will be your host, and I go by the name of NoboDy. I always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. Welcome back to another episode of Paradigm Shift TV 314. And today we have a powerful conversation for y'all out there, for the listening audience out there, man. And on today's show, I got my co-host, Jerome the Conscious Christian Green. I got Sabio Robinson from the Scriptures Rippers YouTube channel. And we're about to give y'all something good to eat on today, man. I'm gonna let both of my brothers introduce themselves, and then we're gonna jump into the conversation. Jerome, how you doing, bro?
Peace, bro. Peace to the brother Sabio. You know, it's a blessing to be back on the channel once again. I think this topic is pretty intriguing, and I think both sides are going to learn from each other. And if there are some disagreements on some points, we'll be able to hash them out. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Sabio Robinson, how you doing, bro?
What's up with it, y'all? You know, I appreciate y'all wanting to have this discussion, you know, bringing it up, and, you know, wanting to discuss this with an open mind. And like Jerome said, I hope if we do have some points of contention, we can hash them out without bashing each other.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, hey, man, sure, we gonna jump off this show. For those who've been following Paradigm Shift TV and also following Scripture Rippers, me and my brother Jerome did a video the other day about mass shootings. And we said a few things. I brought up a conversation that me and Sabio had. Sabio heard the video. He ended up doing a response video to that video. And we're just about to break everything down and see can we come to a conclusion. Jerome, you want to go ahead and give the first spiel on why you and I did the video in the first place and how it led to what it led to? And then we'll give Sabio a chance to explain why he gave his response.
Okay. The video, actually, initially the video was supposed to be just about mass shootings. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why we decided to do a video discussing mass shootings is that, like we said in the video that we did, when it comes to mass shootings, the media is very selective of what they put out as far as covering mass shootings. You know what I'm saying? And what I found out through The Trace, which is a media publication that focuses solely on U.S. gun violence, is that, you know, if when it comes to mass shootings, if the incident doesn't fit a predetermined narrative or grid, then more than likely you won't know about it unless you are unless you hear about it through word of mouth, or if somebody may record it on their cell phone video or something to that effect. You're not gonna hear about it on the big three of news networks, which is Fox, CNN, and CNBC. Now, that's pretty much the crux of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I have to go deeper into why, you know, that's the case, you know, I will. But, you know, I want to hear what my brother has to say in regards to that.
Okay, let me stop the screen real quick. I want to say, me being a participant in that video, yes, we originally started out talking about mass shootings. That's what the whole entire video was supposed to be about. In talking about mass shootings, I brought up the point that we have so many mass shootings in the Black community. Why would anybody think that it would be necessary to defund the police? Not the bad police officers, but the good police officers, as in which we see in the last 2 months that there have been a significant number of good police officers who have walked out of the force seeing that cops only make up to $50,000 a year, some of these people see that since the public is turning on the very people who are trying to help them, they feel like $50,000 is not even enough for them to lose their lives trying to protect other people's lives, and seeing that the mainstream media is only putting out information in situations that goes for their agenda and not for the overall. So in me doing that, I recollected a text conversation that me and Sabio had in the group, and it wasn't long, probably about 5 or 6 messages or whatever. And I brought up how, you know, 2 police officers were shot, and I made the point to let it be known that 2 wrongs don't make a right. Pretty much, if a white cop kill an innocent black man, that's wrong. If a citizen kills 2 innocent cops, that's wrong. And I was pretty much just saying how 2 wrongs don't make a right. I went on my spiel, Brother Sabio went on his spiel. Jerome and I made a video, and then Sabio did a response video, and that was pretty much the gist of everything. So that was my part that I played inside this situation that we have right here. Sabio, you want to go ahead and give your spiel as to why you did a response video, or any other thing you want to say pertaining to the subject?
So the first thing I want to do is I want to share my screen, because the conversation was on mass shooting. And
Right.
one thing that we have to understand is that mass shootings involve more than one victim. And a lot of homicides and shootings in our community involve one victim. Very, very seldom is it more than one victim. So a mass shooting is an incident involving multiple victims of gun violence. There is no widely accepted definition of the term mass shooting. The United States follows the Investigative Assistance for Violent Crimes Act of 2012 definition for active shooter incidents and mass killings, defined by the law as 3 or more people in public places. Based on this, it is generally agreed that a mass shooting is whenever 3 or more people are shot, injured, or killed, not including the shooter. Different media outlets and research groups use different definitions for the term mass shooting. For example, crime violence research group Gun Violence Archive defines a mass shooting as 4 or more shot, injured, or killed people at the same general time and location, not including the shooter, differentiating between mass shooting and mass murder. The United States Congressional Research Service acknowledges that there is not a broadly accepted definition of this and defines a public mass shooting as an event where someone selects 4 or more people and shoots them with a firearm in an indiscriminate manner, echoing FBI's definition of the term mass murder, adding the indiscriminate. All right. So, the reason I read that, so we can make a clear distinction as to what you're talking about. Because what happens in our community are not shootings. These are random acts of violence perpetuated by individuals with motives. And that's exactly what, and that was exactly my whole point of contention with this black on black violence, police on black violence, or and black on black violence, and white on white violence, and Asian on Asian violence. And, you know, why do you think I premise my statements with things like that? Crime is committed around those you are in close proximity to. So because we see black people shooting black people in black communities, is because black people are in those environments where things like that are prone to happen. When they move away from those environments, less situations like that happen.
Okay.
As with all people.
Okay. So you did the. I mean, outside of me bringing up our conversation in the text, you also did the response video for the reasons that you just gave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen again. I just shared this a second ago. Here is a list of mass shooters in the black community in which I agree with you. A mass shooting it used to be 3 or more victims, and they updated it to 4 or more victims. I was going to read that same definition, but I'm glad you did it. Here's a photo. Here's a and this not everybody's, just a few. If you can read the top of it up there, it says 2020 mass shooters, and it reiterate what you read at the definition. Suspects who have shot 4 or more people at one time or whatever. And what me and Jerron was pretty much bringing out was that of course we agree with police brutality when it comes to bad police officers or racist police officers or whatever reason it is why police officers are the way that they are. But in our communities that we have to walk out in every single day, we can see not only shootings, but we can see mass shootings of 4 or more people all the time, you know. And we was pretty much saying how the mainstream media don't even cover these type of stories. They don't, because first off, it's not their agenda. The mainstream media in this era is trying to cause a divide, not only a racial divide, but a divide between citizens and police officers. So one of the main reasons why I brought it up, I happen to work in law enforcement, not as a police officer, but as a security guard. I deal with police officers all the time, not on a daily basis, but on a weekly basis, probably more than the average person would like to deal with police officers. And I know that a lot of these officers, they ain't waking up every day thinking about, let's go into a black community and do A, B, and C. But what we do see in our communities, outside of, you know, people being killed over trying to be dope boys and rude boys, or whether they trying to be pimping and sex trafficking, or they trying to be thugs and gangbangers, or just regular people on the street who have guns, you know, and they'll shoot you over stepping over their shoe, or you know, pulling up to Walmart instead of their parking spot or anything else or whatever. So I just want to ask you, Sabio, do you agree that it is a lot of violence that happen in our black communities that the mainstream media don't pick up?
Of course, I agree with that. But why would the mainstream? It's not their job.
Okay. Jerome, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I like how the brother, you know, broke down the definition of a mass shooting, and like you, I agree 100% with the definition. My point in bringing up, you know, mass shootings is to even with the picture that you posted, with all those faces on the picture itself, that doesn't do the numbers justice. Like I said in the first video, in 2020 alone, there were like over 600 mass shootings, which is double the amount of mass shootings that we've had in the past 5 years previously. So that should say a lot. Now, if we narrow it down to the black community, you know, and I even gave an example of that. You know, the shooting that took place in Chicago about 2 months ago, where 13 people were shot, and I think between 2 and 4 people were killed. That's the definition of a mass shooting taking place in a specific area during a specific function where there's a gathering of our people, whether it's a house party, it's a club scene, or whatever. These types of shootings are not, they're not sparse. They are, you know, depending on which area you live in or which metropolis you live in, these types of shootings are they're very common. They're very pervasive. So that's the only part that I was trying to bring up, because you don't, like, my problem with the whole thing is the media doesn't cover it, you know, and I honestly, personally, I think that they should. And you have certain organizations that are going around telling us who lives matter, but they're not picking up on this stuff either. And it makes me very suspicious of the media, and it makes me very suspicious of these organizations who are telling us who lives matter when they don't even, they don't bat an eye at what's going on in the black community. And just like in my neighborhood just this past week, and it wasn't a mass shooting, it was, you know, 2 people got shot like right up the street from me, you know, and I'm willing to bet that I won't see Black Lives Matter coming through my neighborhood telling, you know, our people to stop killing each other or shooting each other or hurting each other. So that's my biggest problem with what's going on as far as the media is concerned, and as far as this these protests that are geared towards a certain narrative, and they're not, they're not even trying to cover the entire scope of what's going on in the Black community. So that's my spill on it.
I agree. I partially agree with that. Black Lives Matter will not show up in the community protesting and fighting for the lives of those people who were killed. I agree with you. But see, I'm gonna tell you what I've been knowing about Black Lives Matter since Darren Seals, a good friend of mine, was killed. It's a political organization. It's not about. It's nothing else. It's a front organization. So now that I got that out the way, this whole concept of crime and things like that, we have to look at, and this is what bothers me with a lot of people. Want to look at things with rose-colored glasses. You don't want to look at the whole picture. You don't want to take everything into account. Everything that led up into 2021. We don't want to take 1980 into account. We don't want to take 1965 into account. We don't want to take 1910 into account. We don't want to take 1877 into account. We don't want to take 1865 into account. We don't want to take 1782 into account. We don't want to take 1776 into account. We don't want to take 1712 into account. We don't want to take none of these dates into account. We don't want to take the formation and the beginning of slavery into account. We don't want to take none of this into account, because we act like it doesn't make a difference. Somehow.
Sabio, let me ask you this.
Hold on before you ask me, because this is the problem. I don't ever get to finish my statement. And when I don't get finished my statement, I forget what I'm trying to say.
Right, my bad.
So, by us not taking these things, what we do is we act like everything has been taken care of, because we got to the point where we can stop and live and eat and do things amongst these people. And our fight was supposed to be ended there.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You bringing up those dates and stuff and saying that we don't want to take those into account. Are you suggesting that because of those dates, that's why our people do what they do, or was you making another suggestion?
I'm saying that everything that happened before plays a part into today. Everything.
Okay.
Everything. So if you're going to stand here or sit here and minimize the impact of the transatlantic slave trade on us as a people, you're not looking at anything. You're not paying attention to the formations of the police, which I just told you, they were called patrollers. They weren't called the police at first. They called them patrollers.
I stay in Texas. That's what
Patty rollers. They were called patty rollers. And what did a patty roller do? They rolled from plantation to plantation, picking up runaway slaves, disobedient slaves, and slaves that was finna be sold.
Out here in the South. Well, okay, so how would you feel if I said this towards that? Most of these people who are out here committing these type of crimes, they don't know what you just said about those dates and those people. Half of them don't care nothing about the slave trade, don't care nothing about the 60s, don't care nothing about 1700s, 1800s. They just in it for the...
See, that's a non sequitur, because they don't know. That's part of the reason they're doing it. Do you know how much shit I did before I knew?
All right.
Half the shit that I learned?
All right. Okay.
I was once out in those streets until I learned some things.
So what about the ones who do know and still out there doing it?
Apparently they don't care. And there's nothing, and you're going to have those people. And there's one thing, that I have learned, that when you know better, you will want to do better. So if they
Right.
knew better, they would want to do better. Apparently, they don't know better. So whatever it is that they know, it's enough for them to keep doing what they're doing because they're content with it.
So that kind of override why you brought up the dates in the first place. Because if there are
So it
people out
doesn't
here,
override it.
now, let me explain. If there are people out here who don't have the information and they out here living life based off what they do know, then those dates are irrelevant to them. If there are people out here who do know about those dates that you brought up and still choose to do what they do, then that overrides the point of bringing up the dates in the first place, which is why I brought up the question.
All
Because
right. So let me ask you this question.
let me
Go
finish this.
ahead. Go ahead and finish. Then I'm gonna ask you.
What I was saying is, not that I disagree with you on those dates being significant points in our history, but what I'm saying is we can't bring up those dates to give people who don't care nothing about those dates an excuse as to why they commit the crimes or the sins or the violence that they commit. Because most of these people today are trapped into, mainstream music, mainstream movies, mainstream radio, mainstream hood talk, and they're just bobbing off of that. When I was in the streets, when I was gang banging, my grandmother was a high school history teacher. I knew all the history that you could tell somebody. I didn't care. I was more concerned with what my OGs thought. I was more concerned with what the people on the block thought. I was more concerned with my image while I was in the rap game, trying to put together these videos, trying to back up what I was saying on my songs. So those dates are significant. Those dates I feel like people should know. But to me, those dates are no excuse as to why people commit the violent crimes that they commit, whether black, white, green, or purple.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
okay. First off, we don't have no green or purple people.
I mean, I was just coming. I was just coming.
All right. So so the question I was about to ask you was, how can we hold people accountable for information that they don't know if they haven't been exposed to it? First off, because you want to know something before you answer. When I went to my African American history class at Forest Park Community College on Oakland, 5600 Oakland Avenue, you know where it is, don't you?
No, I stay in Texas.
Oh, I thought you stayed in St. Louis. Okay, well.
No, that's too young.
I went to Forest Park Community College. When I went to my African American history class, the professor, Pamela Wood, asked the whole class about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, if they knew what they were. You want to know who raised their hand? Me. The only nigga in the classroom who raised his hand.
So what's the question you have for me? If you can re-ask.
So again, how can we hold people accountable for information that they're supposed to know about if they haven't ever been exposed? Because this is a whole college classroom of college freshmen who did not know, who had just graduated high school, some of them, who did not know about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution of the United States.
Okay, let me answer that. I'm not holding anybody accountable for something
so that's all I need you to say.
Hold up, bro. Let me get that. I'm not holding anybody accountable for what information they don't know. As pertaining to this subject, I'm holding people accountable for their actions. Somebody going to go do a mass shooting, killing 3 or 4 more people. I don't care what he didn't know about the Constitution or the dictionary. I don't care if not spell, read, or write. If your actions have you going out here committing mass murders, that's wrong. I don't care what you don't know.
Okay.
I'm going off.
Okay. You see, now we just minimize the conversation. And I don't want minimizing conversation. See, I'm talking about things on a macro scale. I'm talking about how valuable information is to people. And what you just said was that you don't care if a person don't know how to read or write. They're
as
out here.
pertaining to this. Yeah.
Hold on,
As
hold on, hold on,
hold on,
hold
wait,
on.
bro.
No, no,
Wait, bro.
no, no, no. I'm going to repeat
Listen to
everything that you
listen,
said so I
bro.
don't
Listen to
misrepresent
the host, bro. We're not gonna talk over each other. And as you see, I'm gonna give you more than enough time to talk. I was just about to say, as pertaining to killing somebody, I'm not talking about people should be uneducated in that. I'm talking about if somebody out here killing somebody, this one I don't care if they know how to read or write. You can learn morality. You can learn not to steal, not to kill, not to lie. You don't have to know how to read in order to know that. So that's why I said that. Not that I'm advocating for people to be out here ignorant and just don't learn how to read and write. So don't take it in that direction. But I'm sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead, bro.
I don't even know what I was saying. I don't even know what I was saying. I don't even know what I was saying.
You were saying that me saying
what I was finna continue on saying, I don't remember. So
if I could refresh your memory, you probably would. You were saying that I had said that I don't care if a person know how to read or write. That's what you was going into.
like I said, I done lost the train.
Okay. Well, Jerome, do you want to address anything that Sabio said previously?
Well, I mean, I agree that that information in regards to history is important, but honestly, bro, I don't necessarily think it has a bearing on how we interact with each other. Because I know brothers who are sharper than probably anybody on this panel right now when it comes to our history, and that does not stop them from, exploiting our people who are under self-bondage from drug use. It doesn't stop them from disrespecting our women. It doesn't stop them from, hurting and killing other black people. You know what I'm saying? And they know the information. They know more information than like I said, probably everybody on this panel, or they are on par with anybody on this panel when it comes to black history and what took place with black people in this country. You know what I'm saying? So I get his point, and his point is valid to a degree, but it's still like the scope of this conversation is, to me, it's beyond that. It's about, like Jacoby said, it's about actions. It's not about intellect.
Well, listen, y'all don't think intellect and actions line up, then that's the disconnect right there.
I mean, when it comes to morality, now I don't.
Hold on, because now you're talking about something psychological that you have to manifest physically. And both of those words are things that your mind has to come to grasp and put into motion. Action only come from what? Thought. So if a person's whole worldview is negative and they have nothing positive to look at, nothing positive to think about, nothing positive to look forward to in their world ever, they were deprived the joys of learning how to read and write, and they seen other kids, and all they were abused and raped, and all they saw was death and things like that. You don't think that's going to shape their actions? You see, these are the conversations that people don't like having with me, because I actually make people think. This is what I like to do. But we have to really think about what we're saying. That's why I brought up the example of them high school and grown-ups, 25, 26, 27-year-old black men and women in this college course that knew nothing about the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution.
Right. But see what you
No, please. I wasn't finished.
Oh, I didn't know. You took a pause. I didn't know. Go ahead.
So the thing is, when you have information that's pertaining to you, that's powerful to you, that give you some type of love for yourself and your people, you will cherish that, and you will want to bring that out, and you will want to share that, and you will want to do your best for that. And by us not ever receiving that, you have people like Tim Scott coming on and America is not a racist country. When since the Derek Chauvin case, we've seen nothing but unarmed black people shot by the police. I've posted numerous incidents of whites showing their asses. Somebody threw a burger at a black woman and cursed her out. Called her the N-word over a Burger King burger because the tomato was wrong or something. Like these are the things that the conversation I was having with y'all was about Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, getting up behind Tim Scott and saying, America's not a racist. Like, and then we have black men that'll tell me I'm wrong for not supporting the police and what they're going through. Like, I understand that they don't want to lose their jobs, that they don't want to be defunded, that they have a job to do. I totally understand that. But is it their job to protect and serve everyone? To protect and serve the community of everyone, not just those with the assets? Because that's what it seemed like they're doing.
So when you say they, are you saying every cop?
I'm talking about all the cops. Because
that's because the media is feeding you that narrative. That's the only reason you even.
It's not the media. It's my interactions with the police also, sir. See, you can't say
so
that.
Saying every cop. Hold up. Okay, Sabio. So you're saying every cop does the exact same thing?
Every cop that
so what about those?
Yes.
Okay. So what about those police officers that I've interacted with who've never done any of that?
I don't know them. So until I interact with them and they show me that.
You said every cop though. I'm saying. You said
I don't know.
Every cop.
You said that for you. How do they interact with other people?
No, you said every. I didn't say every. You said every. Huh?
Right. And what did I just say? Every cop. And you want to know what every cop stands behind? The thin blue line.
But you mean every cop that you've interacted with, right? Or you mean every cop in America?
In the world stands behind the thin blue line.
So what about? So no, I'm talking about, as you said, I'm talking about the first thing you said about every cop. Not that cops don't bleed blue. Of course, if you're a cop, you bleed blue. That's every cop. I'm talking about what you said at first when you said that every cop thinks the way that you just said at first. And I brought up, what about the cops who I know, and I'm pretty sure I know way more cops than you.
You just confirmed my statement when you just said they stand behind the thing that every cop bleeds blue, bro.
No, listen to me, bro.
I listen.
You just brought
I listen directly.
Baby, yo, come on, fam. We're not gonna talk over each other. Listen to me. You just said the bleed blue part second. That part I agree with. Every cop who put on a badge bleeds blue. I'm agreeing with that.
That was my whole point of saying it the first time. I just didn't finish.
Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate you. Okay. Well, you clearing that up, then yeah, I don't have nothing to say about that. Go ahead, Jerome.
Well, honestly, if Sabio feels that what he described is the mentality of every single cop, I would have to disagree with that.
Yeah, that's the point I was talking about.
Yeah. I'm not one of these people out here. I'm not one of the. Let me finish. I'm not one of the people out here who are screaming, Blue Lives Matter or anything like that. And I'm gonna give you a couple of examples why, so you can see exactly where I'm coming from. Now, when it comes to police who need to be called out for their bad behavior, from 2010 to like 2020, around 87 cops were arrested and convicted of domestic violence charges. It's cops out here that go home and beat their wives. And, it's more than 87, but that's just what's been documented in South Carolina. And South Carolina is like, it was top 10 for domestic violence, period. But to have these officers who've taken an oath to go home and do that to their spouses is disgusting. And even when you think about officer discretion is ineffective when it comes to that because of this thing called the warrior mentality. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how akin that is to cops bleeding blue, or I guess it's all of them sticking together when it comes to things like that. But some officers will actually take up for the officer accused of the abuse over the abuser. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not pro cop. I'm not out here, talking about Blue Lives Matter or anything like that. But I do understand that we need law enforcement, with everything that's going on in the community. So,
Now,
that's my
wherever would y'all ever hear me say we don't need law enforcement? No,
I haven't heard you say that before.
I won't ever make that ridiculous claim.
No, I didn't hear you say that either.
Ever, because that's a ridiculous claim to me.
We on the same page, bro.
But what I will say is that and this is my main argument about all this, and I think everyone overlooks it because they don't actually think it's valid. Till our humanity is looked at as the same way as these white cops and these white people who shoot up churches and have guns put on the police and hops in the car and drive away and not be shot.
I've seen that.
Then I don't want to hear nothing from nobody because it's our humanity that's been taken into question. We have civil rights. I've been screaming this since I've been coming on panels. It isn't about civil rights anymore.
Right. That's what you said on the video, yeah.
In the 60s. It's about human rights. Look.
Right. And Fabio, let me piggyback on you. If I could piggyback on what you just said, I agree. You saying it's not about civil rights, it's about human rights, I agree. And that's the reason why I came out on that post and said 2 wrongs don't make a right. Because if somebody is innocent, if it's just about humanity, I don't care if a person got a badge on or not. If somebody kills somebody who's innocent, I don't care if they're a cop, it's still wrong. And that's the reason why I said what I said that day when you posted that post and was kind of, I'm not for sure if that was you, I think it was, but somebody was like, oh, that's good that they shot them cops. Some like, we getting revenge back for our people. And I was like,
that wasn't me.
Okay, cool.
I didn't say that.
Right. So that's what I was speaking to when I brought up like 2 wrongs don't make a right, but based on what you just said. Because if it's about human life and we value human life, we shouldn't give no excuse to somebody who take an innocent human life, whether they flip burgers at McDonald's or the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I was coming from.
But what I think I did respond, and I think I did say we are at war. And we can't win a war by being passive and turning the other cheek.
Right, you did say that, yeah.
I did say that.
Right, I agree. You did. Jerome, how you feel about him saying that we're at war and that it's time out for us turning the other cheek? You want to speak on that?
All right. So hypothetically, if we are at war, then what would be the best thing we would? All right, for me, if we are at war from a hypothetical perspective, because I don't know whether we at war or not, you know what I'm saying, based on the numbers. But if we are at war, then how about we change the way that we interact with each other? How about we safeguard each other? You know what I'm saying? How about we use that animosity that we have towards each other, that energy we put towards each other when it comes to this type of stuff, and start protecting each other.
I agree
Yeah.
with you. I totally agree with you. I don't disagree with none of that.
See, paradigm shift audience. Y'all see, these are three brothers on one platform who started out with disagreements. And now y'all see us sitting down, hashing everything out. And what do you mostly hear in this conversation? I agree. I agree. I agree. This is how it's supposed to be. Hold on real quick, bro. I'll speak to the audience. This is how it should be done inside the Black community. We can disagree and still be respectable to each other. We should all be able to come to the table with each other, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, non-believer, atheist, agnostic, Nuwapian, whatever you want to be. If you claim to be pro-Black, you should be able to sit down with your brothers the way me, Sabio, and Jerome is doing right now and hash out whatever kind of contentions that you have. So for all y'all brothers out there who just be hating on each other for no reason or putting out this video and that video to respond to this person and that person and not letting people get their talking points across so that y'all could come to a, y'all make us as the Black community look bad, man. Y'all talk all this rah, Black utopia, all this, but then you have beef with your own brothers. Both of us have made videos about each other and look at us on the same platform together, getting along. Not that we agree on everything, because we do have some disagreements, but look at how we're handling this, man. And I hope that y'all out there in the conscious community, the woke community, or the YouTube community, I hope y'all can look at us three brothers and take away from this conversation and see that if y'all are about the unification of Black people, then y'all should be able y'all should be willing to come sit down with another brother who you may disagree with and still hash things out. Go ahead, Sabio. I just want to throw that out there, bro.
Well, the one thing I was going to say was, in order for us to come to a type of universal mindset where we start looking at the things that are actually hindering us, only way that is going to happen is we're going to have to start putting down some of these titles that we hold dear to us. Titles are big separators in our community. And when I say titles, I mean whatever type of title, name, you can call it. You know, I mean, from Black man to female dog to NIGGA to Muslim to Moor to Christian, whatever, to conscious to comedic, whatever. These are all dividers.
Okay. I kind of agree. Of course, everybody know I am a Christian man. I believe in Jesus Christ. But when I come online, notice my name is NoboDy for that very reason. Because I don't want nobody, if I'm saying 1 + 1 is 2, I don't want you to disagree with me just because I'm a Christian. Now, I put forefront that I am a Christian, but again, that's why I got my name NoboDy, because if something is true, it's true, man. You know, we see in our community, most people would not even listen to you say 1 + 1 = 2 based off your title. So I would agree with you on the title thing. I'm not saying that nobody should walk away from their beliefs, but I do agree that titles can separate people. But titles also lets us know who is about what and who isn't. Like, for example, I ain't trying to link up with no LGBT community. I ain't trying to link up with the Black Lives Matter organization for reasons that Sabio and Jerome have brought out about it. You see what I'm saying? So I feel you on the title thing all the way. I do agree on that. Let me ask you this before we get ready to close out. What do you feel is more major to the Black community? Is it the police killing us, or is it what we do to ourselves, Sabio?
So you want me to quantify the way that we treat each other, the way that the police.
You faded out, bro. You faded out.
I said you want me to quantify. You want me to quantify the way the police treat us and the way we treat each other, or the way the police look at us and the way that we look at us.
I want you to give me your opinion on if it's about Black lives. I'm talking about just Black lives being taken. I want your opinion. It is no longer right answer. I just want your opinion. what do you think is more major to Black lives being taken? Would it be the police brutality or what we do to ourselves?
I would say it's 50-50. Because, and the reason I say it's 50-50, because both of them have historical connections. And the historical connections both lead to the same place. And until we have fully addressed them as a nation, and I'm talking about us as a people and them as a people, it's going to continue. Why? Because all we're doing is we're perpetuating things that we want to do to them on each other. All right, so these acts of violence that we commit on each other, we really want to be doing to them. But we know that it's going to be a lot worse consequence if we step over there to Baldwin or to Beverly Hills or to Pompano Beach, Florida, or to Fifth Avenue. We know the consequences. But what we do is we weigh the options. And we say, well, if they don't look at it, why should I look at another?
Okay, I like that. Jerome, if you want to respond to anything that he says, you can. And I also want you to answer the same question. As it comes to the taking of Black lives, what do you think is more prominent in taking away Black lives? Is it police brutality or what we do to ourselves?
All right. The way I'm gonna answer that question is I'm going to compact it into a philosophical statement, and this is a statement that I've held to and stood by for years. Until we stop seeing, I'll put it like this: until we stop seeing each other as, and I'm not disagreeing with anything he said. I actually agree with everything he said. But until we stop seeing ourselves as dispensable, how do we expect certain law enforcement officers to stop seeing us as dispensable? How do we expect white supremacists to stop seeing us as dispensable when they look at the same news that we look at? They hear about the same things going on in the Black community as we do, because they don't even have to be in the Black community to know what's going on. All they have to do is get an earful of a song that's being put out by a top artist, and they already know what's going on in the Black community. So until we eradicate the way that we interact with each other, the way that we view each other, and the way that we put those views on wax and on video, then we shouldn't expect to change. Until we have to be the change. We have to change the narrative in order for things to change subsequently from us changing the narrative.
I like that. Me, if I can answer my own question, as I said previously, I work with police officers from time to time. And again, man, if we look at the consensus on how many white people have been shot by the police compared to how many Black people have been shot by the police, the white people number is more than ours. And when we look at violent crimes from the Black community in America, our numbers are higher than any other racist numbers. Where is the white Chicago? Where is the white Kilmore, Baltimore? Where is the white murder capital of the world, Louisiana? Where is the white Milwaukee, Milwaukee? They don't have any of these cities, but we got them, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when it comes to what takes the lives of black people the most, of course, it's other black people. Now, I'm not saying that as to say that white people don't kill themselves in their
It's
communities
heart disease.
more than white people, and it's the same for Mexicans and
It's heart
Chinese
disease, actually.
and Russians and everybody else. Of course, the people who you are around the most, you kill the most, and that's true for any other race. But for us to make up 13 to 17% of the
That's
American
false.
population,
That's also false.
that's not false. But
No, it is, and let me explain to you why. Because what they do, and
okay,
it's
hold on, bro.
unfortunate.
I'm gonna let you go on your turn, and you can go right when I get done. That's fine with me. That's cool. I just want to say, for us to make up one of the smallest numbers of the population of America, but to have the highest violent crimes in America, I feel like we're overlooking the gunshot wound in order to focus on the knife wound. Now, that don't mean that the knife wound don't need to be addressed, but if we're gonna make an argument about the taking of black lives, how can anybody deny that we take our lives at a higher rate than any other race in the country? You know, and what Jerome had touched on earlier, I want to say that too. Again, me working with officers, I know for a fact you have zones. You have zones where crimes are least, and then you have zones where crimes are the most. Polices have these zones mapped out. And it just so happened that a lot of the zones that are the high crime rate zones are black communities. That's just a fact. Again, where is the white Chirac? Where is the white Kilmore? Where is the white Milwaukee? Where is the white murder capital of the world? You don't see them places existing in America. For example, black people get money and move out to the white neighborhoods. Look at Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle tried to keep what he had going on in the hood. Wasn't nothing wrong with that. But who he get killed by? Other hood people. Look at the rapper out here in my city called Mo3. Used to rap with Lil Boosie. Who did he get killed by? His own people. Look at King Von. Look at, I can just on rappers alone, I can just name a long list of rappers who was killed by, and that's not even including gang members and trap houses and dope boys and all that. This is just celebrity stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with both of my brothers on the fact that now I ain't making no excuses for it though. I'm not saying that oh, we do this because of post-traumatic slave syndrome or we don't have information of this or that. No, you learn wrong and right as a child. You know what I'm saying? You know not to steal, not to kill as a child. You don't have to read no whole encyclopedia. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to have no high school diploma to know that stealing wrong, killing wrong, lying wrong, cheating wrong, thieving wrong. You know this. People know that stuff. So my answer would be that when it comes to black lives being taken, we definitely take more black lives ourselves than any other race could or have done to this point. But go ahead, Fabio, if you wanted to address something I had said.
All I was finna say was that U.S. population, African American, the reason they say it's 13% is because unfortunately we have about 35 to 42% our men and women incarcerated on some type of probation or parole. And when they are on those types of restrictions, that disqualifies them counted in the total U.S. population.
That's not true, bro. The jail
Yes,
system is
they
why they
can't.
do
Most
count.
of them are disenfranchised and they can't vote.
You have to give an account when you go to jail. That's what your fingerprint is for. Is what your ID is
But
for.
listen,
You're on the population list. When
listen,
hold on, watch this.
you're on a population list in
That's
jail.
what I'm saying.
Listen, but you're not in the population anymore. You're no longer a U.S. citizen.
That don't have nothing to do with
Do you know what
population.
the 13th Amendment say?
What it say?
I'm gonna tell you, and before I even pull it up.
I know what it say, but go ahead. Go ahead.
The
Tell me what it
13th Amendment says that slavery shall not be legal in the United States except for when you are serving time for a crime. So you are a slave when you are a criminal. So you are a slave when you are a criminal.
I'm saying, say what the 13th Amendment say again.
The 13th Amendment to the Constitution says, and I'm gonna pull it up. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So, the only time you can be a slave is when you are a what? Criminal.
But what
right.
what does it have to do with population numbers though? And
But it has
being
everything
counted
to do
inside
with
the
population numbers. Because as I was
So
saying,
does that apply to everybody who's incarcerated?
yes,
so the white numbers is not
are
really
down
as
also.
low as they
And
make it seem because okay. I'm just saying okay, I
Yes.
got you. I'm making go ahead.
yes, because you are a slave to the state that you are serving crime to. And there's also another clause in the 14th Amendment, I think it is, that Zion Warring brought out to me. Let me see.
Okay, that's interesting though.
It goes a little deeper. Got to get a little deeper to the 14th Amendment. It says something regarding that.
Jerome, you jump in any time and address whatever you want to address. That he says.
So that's the reason, and that's the reason. Basically, that's the reason why they say our population is 12 to 13% though, because 35 to 42% of African American males and females are disenfranchised and off of the voter roll and lists because of some type of probation, parole, ankle monitoring, something like that, or incarceration.
Well, I would say this. I would say
Okay,
yes, I agree that prisoners can't vote and they don't have certain rights. But when it comes to the consensus, a prisoner has a better chance of getting counted than you and I because they're already in the government. If I decide to go have a child and I don't want to go to the hospital or something like that, or if I don't, sign up for certain programs to keep myself going, I could be miscounted. A prisoner is never going to be miscounted because they are accounted for by the prison system.
Look, I understand that, but they're not counted in the total U.S. population. So they're only counted in what? The prison population.
But the prison
What you have to
population
understand is that the prison population is like a total another country. All right? It's like it's a whole nother entity. It exists out. Why do you think the provision in the 13th Amendment was put there? You can be a slave when you're serving time. It distinctly says it. Why do you think it says that?
Them being a slave doesn't mean that they're not a. This is my contention with it. We're talking about population count. We're talking about when America put out a consensus and it says, well, it's this many people in our country, this many white, this many black, this many Mexican, all that. They do count the prisons, bro. Period.
No, they don't.
Slave or
no,
not.
they
yes,
don't.
They do, bro.
No, they don't. I've been in jail.
Bro, yes, they do.
No. I've been incarcerated around census times, and I've never taken a census.
No.
Once.
They're not going to ask you to take a census.
No,
this is what I'm saying,
they
bro.
don't do it. They don't
listen to what I'm, bro. I work with cops.
This.
I know exactly what they're doing.
I'm going to pull it up again.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. You don't have to count.
I'm just going to pull it up.
All right, well, let me say what you pull it up and let me get through talking, bro. The people in prison, when the United States do a consensus of everybody who stays in this country, you don't have to take a consensus in prison. Your fingerprint, you're already in prison. They know you're there. I got my rocks here, boss. New York City 1, New York City. They know you're there, bro. Like, come on. So when they do a population count for America, prisoners don't have to take a consensus because we already know that you're here. We know we got
says right here.
We know we got Thomas Black. We know we got Jacob, whatever. That's a part of the consensus, bro. But go ahead.
It says California prisons do not count prisoners of the community when they are incarcerated. Even though they remain, they do not count.
Do not count what? That didn't say anything. That just proved nothing I said.
Prisoners.
You said they don't count prisoners for what reason?
In the census.
It says that exact word on there. They don't count prisoners in the census in California.
Yeah.
No, it don't say that. I know it don't say that. So no.
Yes,
you
it
just
does.
made that up,
Yes, it does.
Okay. Do you have it on your screen?
California. The Census Bureau counts Oh, my bad. I misread it.
I know, but go
It
ahead.
does read them.
I
As if
know.
they were residents of where they are, even though they remain legal residents of the place.
Sabio, I keep telling you I work with Casa. Do you want me to cut my camera on real quick and show you my uniform I got on right now? Come on, bro. You can. I mean, it is what it is, though. It's all good. Jerome, do you want to address any of that?
I mean, nah, because you know, it seems like he's trying to make a point, but he, you know, I don't know whether his point is valid or not, honestly. Like, and from what he brought up, it doesn't seem so. But I'm gonna stay out of this one. So.
Okay.
Hold on. Because that's interesting. Because it just says something contrary to that. How can they? So if you're incarcerated, if you live in California, but they incarcerate you in like they send you to a prison in Kansas. How can they count you as a resident of California? Having interesting. I have to figure it out right now.
I mean, if you're in America and you decide to move to Canada, then yeah, your census would count for Canada because you would be a citizen of
Hold
Canada.
on, let me read this right. Because maybe legislative district.
I mean, it's cool though, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of going off topic anyway. But I want to give y'all the chance to give y'all last spiel, bro, and then we'll close on out. Sabio, you want to give any last words to the conversation, and also let the people know where they can find you at on YouTube or Facebook or any other social media outlets that you have?
Nah, I mean, y'all can just check me out on Scripture Rippers, where we be beating up the Bible.
Okay. Do you have any last words you want to give as pertaining to the conversation?
California law says a prison cell is not a residence.
You know what I'm saying? Do you have any last words for the listening audience before we close out? Sabio?
Nah, that's it.
Okay. Jerome, do you want to give your last closing words before we close out and let people know where they can find you at?
Yeah, you know, once again, it was a blessing to be on the channel. You know, chopping it up with
as residents of districts.
Man, why? Hey, you don't have no last words. So you gotta mute your mic or something.
My fault.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Jerome.
Oh, but as I was saying, it was a blessing to be back on the channel again, and have the opportunity to chop it up with y'all brothers. The topic was interesting. You know, we agreed on more than we disagreed on, and I think that's how it should have been. You know, but yeah, that's all I got though.
Okay. Well, y'all know me, man. I appreciate both of y'all brothers coming on the platform, man, giving y'all a spiel, man. Hopefully we could do this again on a whole nother topic or any other topic that y'all feel as if need to be addressed for the listening audience and for the people who thought that we was just beefing to the point of no return. Y'all see, it really wasn't no major beef like that. And when we do beef with each other, we just beef with each other on the information. We're not gonna see each other in the streets and go bust nobody's head or nothing like that. Y'all know me, I go by the name of NoboDy. I always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. You can find me over there on my YouTube channel, Trust and Believe the Gospel, where Jerome, the Conscious Christian Green, is my co-host, Mr. Co-host to you. You can find me on Facebook as Jacobus Wide. You can find me right over here, being the self-proclaimed co-host of Paradigm Shift TV 314. That was Sabio Robinson. That was Jerome, the Conscious Christian Green. I am NoboDy, and this has been Paradigm Shift TV 314, and we'll catch y'all in the next one, and that's peace.